And welcome to episode 44 of the Gaslec podcast. And thank you very much indeed for listening, guys. I just checked it out, and we are on the FeedSpot top 35. I don't know if you can read that. We're just going to focus in. We are number 9 in the list for the plumbing and heating shows within the UK here. I like to think within the universe, but let's be a little bit realistic here. It's just me and that camera, isn't it? But thank you very much indeed for listening. It really, really does help. And we're starting to see some of the fruits of our labour here at Gaslec Towers with all the social media stuff that we do and all the content that I put out. To help people and show people, how to do things, what things look like, and actually what we can do. And that's sort of part and parcel of the mindset behind it all, really. Sort of showing people and telling people that we actually do know what we're talking about here over at Gaslec. And obviously this is in the heart of the historic city of Rochester. And I do know there's a few listeners out there that find that highly hilarious because we are actually over in Strood. And the people that are listening in America and wherever you are in the world, you may not get the joke, but it's a bit of a local one here. So there we are. So I'm not feeling my best today. I went diving all weekend. So this is the 3rd of March. So I was with the dive club. We was over in just on the outside of Somerset. Place called Vospiki over there. What an amazing place that is there. But the water temperature down the bottom was 4 degrees. It was shiveringly cold. But I met some lovely people over there. I had a really, really good time. We had a couple of beers and a bit of dinner in the evening. I tried Wagamama's for the first time. Don't think I'll be running back there myself, be honest. It's a little bit on the funky side for my liking. But, a lot of people enjoy it, which is absolutely great. And I think I drunk a little bit of lake water there, and it sort of affected me a little bit. So yeah, I've not been feeling too good after going down there. But there we are. That's what it's all about. And talking about sort of weather and temperatures and stuff at the moment, we're starting to look, and we've got sort of this week here, and we're based in Kent, so in the Medway towns. We're looking at weather. We've got like highs of around 15 this week and -3. I think that's -3 tonight. So we're down in the single digits, if not below freezing. There was a heavy frost on the car this morning when we was off to work. So when we start looking at, I always look and plan ahead for the weather. And when the weather does proper turnover, that's when you notice the phone calls change and the business sort of then does sort of pivot a little bit. And it becomes a little bit less reactive for the heating stuff and a lot more planned. And that's what you tend to find that it comes across. Obviously, the builders are building, so things are getting ripped out, things are getting damaged. The DIYers are off, aren't they? Screwing down floorboards, popping ceilings, putting holes in pipes and popping ceilings. So we get all of that. So the business does evolve and change. So we've got some training for me and Dave next week, which I was super looking forward to, and I'll be sharing that one. That's all completed next week. So what else? Some little notes I've got here. This week we have 56 jobs booked in for between the 5 days. So there's only 3 of us on the road at the minute, or 3.5 of us on the road. So, it's like, wow, like we're super, super busy, and certainly for the beginning of March and the rest of March, what it looks like it's probably going to be our busiest March ever. I wouldn't say it was the busiest January had. Last January was a lot busier than the January we just had in 25. So it's a bit of a funny sort of feel, really. You go to some plumbers merchants, and at the moment they're saying they're just ticking over. Some are having these sort of fits and starts in the day, super busy at 1 minute, then dead as a duck for the next sort of 3 hours. So it's not sort of really sort of planning itself out quite smoothly. So I'm not too sure on sort of how to take that, whether it be political stuff that's going on with obviously with our new Labour government that came in last year. I'm not going to get political. I'm not going to say my piece on this. And obviously the promises that he made to everybody, and all these tax changes that we've got coming ahead, certainly on the 1st of April, certainly as an employer as well. So things will be changing and things will be going up, unfortunately, for almost everybody. So anyway, I ain't going to go into that, so I don't want to get into too much trouble. Anyway, so there's a couple of things I want to run through to you, really. One of my pet hates is that we service a lot of boilers. I service over 1,000 boilers a year here at Gaslec. So some commercial, some domestic, some water heaters, but it all come under that sort of boiler branding bracket, really. And so it's the most popular boiler out there, which is the Worcester Green Star, and it has the kebab heat exchanger. It's sort of round this way and sort of about, say, big, about that sort of size. Very, very, very common downward firing boiler, and they sort of ripple when they get a bit older and they start overheating. You see the little ripple lines on it. And if I can dig one out and show you, I'll show you a really, really bad one. But I'll save that for for one of the YouTube videos. But one of the things on there, Worcester recommend that we change the burner seal on top of the burner every 5 years, and with doing so, change the spark electrodes as well. It's not a hard thing at all. And if you ever do take the fan out of the top, we call it like the banana, which where the fan hangs over, comes up through this little tube, which a gas and air mixture drops in to the actual burner itself before it's lit. Once you take those out and lift them off, I've done another video on that before, actually thinking about it. When you actually get that done, you've got to replace the seal. They're a one-time seal. Once they've been compressed, they're down, they've gone through a heat cycle, they've got hot, they've cooled down, that's it, they're finished. They sort of bed themselves in. And I've seen these things 15 years old and never been changed, and they're all disintegrating. So I've got one here to show you. Anne in the office affectionately calls this the knuckle duster. So I'm not quite sure where she grew up, and sort of the company that she holds, but I didn't recognise this myself as a knuckle duster, but yeah, there we are. So if you ever do find the office, ask Anne, what about the old knuckle dusters? Anyway, so there we are, the spark electrodes, and that's the top of the electrodes there, and that's where the connections go on. And on the underside, we have the spark, just like a car, the spark will jump across the gap there, and it will then light the gas air mixture. And then this one here is the flame sensing probe. So what this will do is just like a thermocouple in the old gas fires and stuff like that. Exactly the same. It'll produce about 20 millivolts of voltage out on the pin here, and it go off to the boiler, and it just confirms to the boiler that the flame is lit. If this loses its voltage or its heat down to the boiler will turn off. So when these go wrong, they fire up and then they shut down. They fire up and they'll run for a few seconds and they shut down. And they'll do that 4 times and then they'll lock themselves out. And that is the flame sensing probe, generally speaking, on those. And these do wear down. I've seen these little tiny nubs before where they've gone and gone and gone because they're continuously in the heat, and that's what their job is. So yeah, they're not expensive and they're really simple to do. The burner sort of goes into the top here. It's a bit flimsy. The burner goes in from the top, and then you've got the upper baffle and the lower baffle that comes off the back of that. But I just thought I'd show you a Green Star burner seal. There we are. And for those out there, yes, there does come with a clip, and you put the clip on the inside that holds down the electrodes. But you know what these are like. I'm just demonstrating this here. You clip that on, you ain't getting a bugger off. So don't want to waste a set of electrodes. So there we are. So another thing I want to run through with you guys is catering hoses and gas hoses. So gas hoses, you've got 2 types really. You've got your domestic cooker hose, and then you've got the commercial cooker hose. And I was doing some training for commercial laundry, and they were talking about connecting hoses. So the commercial hoses for the laundry are actually the catering hoses. They're made to a higher specification, they've got a higher temperature rating, and the coating on the outside for the protection is a lot harder and thicker, which does make them about 6 times more expensive as well. But they do come in 2 sizes. They come in 2 lengths really, a metre and a half, and they come in 2 bore sizes, which is like 1/2 and 3/4. I've never seen anything bigger than that. I'm sure they do, but we don't really come across them. So we keep 1/2 and 3/4 in stock. For our commercial catering clients, predominantly, we go to a job and turn up. There's a split in the hose or it's damaged, and then that's it. You've got the appliance that's now out of commission, and it could be on a Friday night when they've got a really busy weekend coming. So it's really important to get these done. And not a lot of people stock them either. So if we have it in stock, then we can get them back up and running, which is the main thing. So first things first, a domestic cooker hose. So here we are. So it's quite a bendy hose. Now it's not designed to be, yes, it is a flexible hose, But it's not designed to be continuously moved around. And I don't think there's any plumbing hoses that are designed for this, because it will wear. There is like a stainless steel band on the inside. You can probably see that there, that's coated. And yeah, the rubber hose with inside it, obviously it's being protected by the outer sheathing as well as the inner braiding. And some of the other stuff that I've done before about water flexi pipes. Now, these don't sit at the same sort of pressure, not at all. These will sit at 21 millibar working pressure, 100%. Unless it's LPG for the old methodicals out there, which will be 37 millibar. I know that, and 27 for butane. I know exactly that, but for the sake of this conversation, 21 for natural gas. So yeah, there we are. So this end will have a 1/2 inch, and this will typically connect to the appliance. So a 1/2 inch BSP fitting there, and that will then screw in. And then this end, I did have a quick look downstairs, I couldn't find one, but the bayonet hose. Now the bayonets have got to be 700mm from the floor, behind the cooker as they come up, and this will push in and then twist, and it's like a quick disconnection. So the other side, the bayonet, is called a self-sealing plug. Now these aren't designed to be left long term. These are designed to be dropped out, moved out, clean, whatever you need to do, put them back in, and then push them back in and twist. Now, they're designed for members of the public to do that. But it is very important that you do keep an eye and a smell out as well, because if you are disconnecting and reconnecting the gas, which this is designed for you to do at home, if you do that, you just need to be mindful that you can cause a gas leak. Because as soon as this top pin here enters, it will open the valve up as it then goes and twists in. So just be careful. And if you do it and you do smell gas, then turn it off at the gas meter and call one of your local gas safety guys. Anyway, so there we are. So the domestic cooker hose, as we call it, only really comes in one length, I think, about 1 meter. One really important thing is these bottom bits mustn't touch the floor. And it's exactly the same in commercial. If they touch the floor, they can start rubbing the floor every time you're moving it in and out for cleaning, and that will cause wear and abrasion. But the main thing is our little tiny friends with little ears and 4 feet that run around in kitchens at night time. So they do like to chew, whether it be a mouse, whether it be a rat, whatever you have, or pops in just for a brief time. So this has got to be off the floor, because so they don't get chewed. So I'll show you the commercial one. So, oops, fell on the floor. Hey. So this here is a 1.5 meter, 3/4 commercial gas hose. So once again at the end, this is all in the packet. So once again on the end, it's got a 3/4 fitting hose that goes into the appliance this end, so it's a bit on the bigger side, so it can handle bigger, like big range cookers and stuff like that. That carries a lot more, needs a lot more gas draw through it. And then this end, this is then our quick release. So very similar to the bayonet, but it does work slightly different, and it just pops off. And as you can see in there, it does have the self-sealing cap. And on the inside, there's, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, there's like a spring, and then that's what makes the that seals it in. Then all you do is you take it out. Now, in the conversation at the training, the guy was saying, oh, they now do a self-sealing hose as well as the self-sealing plug, which is a fantastic idea. But I've never seen one. So maybe there's something that is coming out, but it's not fully out yet. We do get lots of changes within the gas industry. And then all you do is you just pop that in and it clicks in. So once again, we want this about 700mm at least off the floor into a 3/4 male fitting now, and then secured. Excuse me. But one of the main thing is when we have a commercial, we have to have a lever isolation valve. So if we do have long periods of time, we call it the suite inside the layout of the kitchen. So if the suite does get moved around, then a lot of the times these do get disconnected, and you see them sitting there, but then they turn the lever off just in case they do leak gas. They turn the lever off, have that there, and then they can move stuff around. And maybe if the menu changes, which is one of the big things in commercial catering, you get a new chef come along and no, we're no longer going to deep fry this and do that. We're going to use the griddle or a new range cooker. Everything starts getting shifted around left, right, and centre. So, but yeah, so that's the quick release ban. It's there for those on the commercial catering. and they cannot be interchanged. So one manufacturer of this, even these little quick releases here, won't be the same as another one. So they're not universal. Unlike the domestic stuff, the bayonet is the bayonet. And yeah, there's no difference there at all. So there we are. So I'm going to cut this short, really. So we're up, 15 minutes now. I say I'm not feeling my best, so many apologies for that. I really wanted to get this podcast done. It's 7:15 on a Monday evening. This is going to come out 6 a.m. on Tuesday, so I've got to get this over to get this edited and put together and get it all scheduled up for you guys. So thank you very much indeed for listening. Hopefully we had a little bit of information there, maybe a little bit of entertainment as well. So if you've got any questions that you want answered on the podcast, send me an email at podcast@gaslec.net. If you want to be on the show, come and give me a shout at podcast@gaslec.net. I can even do it by phone. I mean, you can ring in and we can have it as an audio only. Or you pop into the office. I've got a chair here. Have a sit on a chair. Got a tea machine and a couple of biscuits. You pop in and do that. So, yeah, that's great. Well, have a fantastic week, guys. And it's going to be busy for us. Wish you all the best. Keep warm. Keep safe. Take care. Bye.